Welcome to Daily Meditation with Zohar Lavie.
So welcome everyone, warm greetings and a really heartfelt welcome to all of you, to all of us into this space of practice together. And whether you are, I just kind of I've been reading the messages coming in and beautiful reflections on where you are and how things are there. So whether it's late night in Canada for Christine and others in North American time zones, or morning for others of us at other time zones, or afternoon, evening, we're really spanning the globe here in many ways, and we can take a moment to appreciate and to feel that, and to feel the community gathering together across this precious planet to join together and to practice together, and to both keep these teachings alive in the world as we practice with them, and also be nourished by them. So it always goes two ways, even when it feels like it's just one way. So I kind of jumped straight in there with that, maybe pausing and also introducing myself. I'm Zohar. I'm one of the teachers that offer these daily meditation sessions, and really happy to be here with all of you in what is a morning here in just south of Tel Aviv in Palestine, Israel. And feeling the nourishment of the community coming together. Lots of different conditions that we're in, whether it's the time zone or the weather or the internal weather. Lots of different conditions that we're in, and yet here we are coming together to practice. And the session today will include a short reflection from me, and then some time to practice together, and some time for questions and reflections at the end. So let's dive in, let's go in. So there's something it's interesting how, I prepared these sessions a few weeks ago, but just kind of looking at my notes this morning, I'm amazed at how resonant they are with my kind of present sense in my heart and mind. And this idea, or it's almost our underlying insight and understanding that we're working with this week, of our sensitivity, that we are sensitive beings. And as sensitive beings, we are impacted by the conditions of our lives through having a body, heart, and mind. We meet the world, both our own individuality with what is happening, the conditions of this body, heart, and mind. But this body, heart, and mind is also impacted by what is around us, and what is happening in our world. And this includes meeting the painful and challenging circumstances. Again, whether in our immediate environment or what we can call further afield. But as we're experiencing right now in this community, there's not really that distance, even with geographical distance. So yesterday we were opening very much to self-compassion, developing self-compassion as a resource for us, and as a kind of way of supporting more of a capacity to meet the difficult in that movement, self-compassion, and then the compassion externally and internally. And I think it was in the questions and responses that we were speaking about it, almost like the in and out breath of our practice, that and of our lives, and how we engage is like needing to bring in self-compassion and then extending the compassion out, and then from extending the compassion out, needing to come back in as a way of just caring for the vessel of our being in how we engage, caring for this sensitivity. So just to kind of reflect again and to say, this interesting thing is that it's not a choice between, we don't need to choose between self-compassion, other compassion, but actually to see the wholeness of that movement that includes both, and seeing ourselves as part of the network of life that we wish to care for, and also seeing this body, heart, and mind as the vessel through which we can care for, and therefore it also needs care. So we opened yesterday to self-compassion. We're exploring it as a resource, something that can resource us and support our capacity to be open and to allow our sensitivity with less overwhelm. And today I want to kind of explore, bring in the sister quality of compassion, which is appreciation. And to actually explore the resource that we can tune into intentionally around appreciation and the well-being that becomes available there for us. And just to pause there and say, it's like, this is sometimes can feel even more of a stretch or a leap, even if, we practice self-compassion, and questions can come up of like, well, isn't this selfish? And then if we talk about something like appreciation, that can feel even more counterintuitive or not okay to do. And yet it's so important and crucial for us to do that on multiple levels, to tune into this capacity and to cultivate it. It's a way of resourcing ourselves. It's also like a form of protection. It's protecting our heart and also protecting the world, because when we open to appreciation, we open to what is beautiful. We open to what is loved. We open to what is good in the world, and through seeing it, we also give it life. And we also then enhance our wish to protect it and to look after it and to care for it as much as we can. And we also look after our own heart and minds so that they continue to be in balance rather than overwhelmed. So it's a real source of well-being, but also a source of kind of a restfulness, or a type of equanimity. This balance between appreciation and compassion. Appreciative joy and compassion is kind of a place where we find the equanimity that's made up of those two together. So it can be a deep source of well-being, and particularly over time, in the moment and over time. And it's not always easy to do, but the more we do it, the more available it is for us. So that's another reason to practice it, to put it into practice and to train in it. The words that we use for our Dharma practice, trainings, practices. So I want to give an example. I've been using this example a lot recently. So some of you may have heard it, read it, in things that I've spoken or written in the last few weeks. It's relatively recent. And this is from a Palestinian friend of mine who's a real teacher for me, and through me, I think, for many others, about this capacity and how important it is to turn to appreciation. And a few weeks ago, he sent me a video of him. He goes out to work on his land and also other people's lands every day. It's a real sense of, he says this is what keeps him balanced in really difficult circumstances. He's in the West Bank, not in Gaza. So he can still go and work his land, and also other people's lands where that land is contested. And a few weeks ago, he sent me a video. He was working on land that belongs to someone else who's unable to get there. And this was contested land where the access is difficult or restricted by the settlers nearby and the military. And the soldiers came, and there was a long interaction, and they arrested him. And he sent me a video of this whole process. And then when we spoke afterwards, he was held for a few hours, and then they let him go. He told me a few things. One was, that in that time when he was being held by the soldiers in a small base near his village, he was reflecting on compassion, and he was feeling, this is bad, but there's others that are in worse situations than me. And he was holding them in compassion as a way of supporting himself in that situation. And then, of course, also bringing in a sense of self-compassion. So it wasn't like suppressing or ignoring the difficulty of his own situation, but bringing in that compassion, and then that movement, self-compassion, other compassion. And then we can start to see the relationship. Also, then here's the appreciation of, and, my situation's bad and difficult and painful, and it could be worse. So it's like appreciating that, he knows he's going to be released within a few hours and go home. And here's when it gets interesting. It's already very interesting, but what I want to focus on today is the next day, he sent me another video of the rain falling on his land. And there's been very little rain this year. So, it was raining, and he was just full of appreciation and joy. And you could really hear it in his voice and in the video. And then a few hours later, he sent me a photo of some wildflowers, my favorite wildflowers, one, that he knows I really love. And he sent me a video of those, also somewhere on his land in the mountain, as he says, out. And he said, this is how I keep going. This is the important message from this whole story. He said, this is how I keep going. And it's a choice I have to keep making, is to notice the flowers, to appreciate the rain, to notice what I can incline the mind to that brings me some joy and some gratitude and some appreciation. So I'm giving this example because, as I said, he's such a teacher with this, and such a practitioner of this, again and again, intentionally in really difficult situations, bringing the mind to appreciation. And for us, our meditation practice is a great training ground to do this, something that we can cultivate through our practice. And that's what we're going to do today. And so it's, this practice, actually, the first and most important part of it is to notice what can be appreciated, what we can be grateful for. And we're noticing it and we're tuning into it. Yeah, that's the practice. It can sound really simple or really hard. It's both. Yeah. At different times, sometimes we notice, but then actually sustaining the attention with that can be quite challenging. And then we open, and sometimes, it's just difficult to even find. So we have that intention, we have the compassion, as the other side of the coin. So we're not going to get into a big struggle with ourselves if appreciation or gratitude is not available. We'll just hold that with compassion. Yeah. But we'll see as we practice in a moment, and I'll guide the practice, if it's just possible to tune in the moment, in the direct experience, to something or some things that can be appreciated, and to then turn the attention to that and let it nourish, let it support us. So the actual practice that we'll do, in essence, isn't going to be a whole lot different than anything else that we practice with. Yeah, we'll be tuning into the body. We'll have an anchor for attention, but then we'll kind of be alive in our attention to notice. There's something here that can be appreciated. There's something here that I feel gratitude around and for, and can I linger with that and let it nourish? And any voices that come in and say, no, you're not allowed, or, you're privileged, or, any of that, just put it to one side and, give yourself to the practice, see what happens. And remembering, we're doing this as a resource to support us in also meeting the painful. So we don't have to make a choice here. It's not one or the other. Yeah. It's both, like the in and out breath. Again, yeah. We breathe in the appreciation, we breathe out the compassion. It's like it's the same movement of the heart that is being nourished so that it can attend in more and more skillful ways. So that's quite a bit of talking. Let's practice together, and we'll take our full half hour of a meditation. So whether you're already in your meditation posture or you are now taking your posture, just taking time to make sure the body's as comfortable as possible in the posture that you've chosen. So settling into your posture, and once you've fine-tuned as much as possible, tuning into any sense of balance, of steadiness, of stability in the posture, in the body. If it's helpful, you can use the contact sensations of the body with that which supports the body. Grounding, gathering the awareness, the attention with the contact. Feeling that stability with the contact sensations. It can be helpful to really tune into that steadiness and stability. Might be if you're in a seated posture, the whole lower part of the body, the buttocks, the legs, the hips, like a base of a mountain, feeling that stability. If you're in a reclining posture, the whole back of the body or the side of the body, whatever's in contact with the mattress. If you're in a standing posture or walking posture, the feet and the legs. tuning in to that stability, that sense of a base for the body. Place to gather the attention. And from there, when you're ready, you can feel that base and open, soften the awareness to more of the body. Like a mountain or a tree growing up from the base, from the roots, and including the whole body. And just feeling that whole body space, rooted and steady with the contact sensations, and also open. And as we do that, we're remembering this practice as movement and embodiment of compassion, of wisdom. Just feeling what happens when we bring that intentionality into awareness. And we can also open, drop in any appreciation or gratitude for this opportunity to practice, to come together in community. So any appreciation for the community, for the teachings, for the possibility to practice, and for yourself showing up. So pausing here for a few moments so that we can feel any appreciation and gratitude and what they feel like. And it's enough to appreciate one thing or one area. We don't need to go through that whole list I just said. Those were examples. And seeing if we can get into that felt sense. And maybe we can feel how it supports the body and awareness to soften and open a little bit more. We can just linger. So this may be enough of an anchor for you, potentially, just the body, the stability of the body, and the openness of awareness through the body, and then that sense of appreciation tuned into. And for many of us, it can be helpful to have a more dynamic anchor for attention. So if that's the case, can bring in sound or breath, body. or the compassion practice we were doing yesterday, any practice that supports you to gather, to be present. Let's take a few minutes to settle, gather with the practice in these ways. So noticing what you notice as you attend to the anchor of attention, whether it's the body, the breath, the sound. And as you continue to practice attending, noticing if there's anything that feels appreciable. It might be something that just feels a little bit nice or expansive or easeful. And we can bring the attention to that aspect of experience and appreciate it. So, if possible, anything in the direct experience, the easing of the out breath, or that sense of the stability of the base of the body, or kind of playfulness of sounds and the soundscape, how it moves and changes. There's so many things that we can turn attention to and appreciate. It might include things we did at the beginning, a sense of appreciating this possibility to practice in community. Or to practice at all. Just seeing what is appreciable, what brings a sense of gratitude to some degree, or appreciation. Anything that's comfortable, nice, good enough, wholesome. Tuning into it. And this is, of course, possible also when we find ourselves distracted or restless. And those moments when we notice that, can appreciate that in that moment, there's presence. In that moment, there's release and perspective. You're not bound by the restlessness of the heart mind or the distraction. And maybe we can just appreciate that for a breath or 2 breaths or 3. Not putting too much pressure. So let's continue to practice in this way, gently attending to your experience, to the anchor and attention, with that light touch, curiosity. Can I appreciate this? Can I appreciate any aspect of this experience right now? Giving that your attention again and again. Again and again, a possibility to attend, to experience. Wow. Possibility to attend to experience. Doesn't matter what's happened just before, but this moment, appreciating with gentleness the capacity, appreciating with gentleness the community, appreciating with gentleness any aspect of your experience in this moment, the anchor of attention, the environment you're in. It can be appreciated, can be met with gratitude, and opening to it and lingering with it again and again and again. Any ease that opens up, any well-being that comes, any release or relief, feeling that too, appreciating that also. Might be very quiet. Doesn't matter. Precious, invaluable. We include that also in the field of appreciation. Any ease, any release or relief, lingering in it and with it. So let's continue in this way. And right in this moment, is there anything that can be appreciated? And noticing that you're present, doesn't matter what came before. And with this breath, with this hearing, with this body, noticing, appreciating whatever can be appreciated, and lingering with the appreciation and with any ease that's available, that opens up. May our practice together continue to be a momentum, a movement of compassion and wisdom in our own lives and in the world. And may our practice together be a support for the well-being of all beings everywhere.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.